she doesn't quite have the time. She intends to retire soon and has feels the pressure to spend enough time on her job to do that well. So hopefully this is not the last time that we see Carol on a committee in town, and until then, wish her all the best for the task ahead.
Thank you, Councillor Dornblatt. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, if you could call the roll.
Councillor Blaisberg.
Aye.
Councillor Lamatino.
Aye.
Councillor Dornblatt.
Aye.
Councillor Eagleson.
Aye.
Councillor Blackstone.
Aye.
Councillor Ward.
Aye.
Councillor Connolly.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Okay. Good. Item 6 on the agenda is the report of the town manager. So at this time, I will turn it over to you, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First, just a follow-up from the town election. As everyone knows, all warrant articles passed by wide margins. It was always 87 to 92% approval for everything. Just a couple dates that we need to remember. April 6th was the first Monday in April. That will be the swearing in of all new officials. We are working on orientation materials, as we've shared some with the council already, and we're doing smaller memos and more generic ones from the Municipal Budget Committee and some others as well. All of the financial and charter amendments do not take effect until the beginning of the municipal year, which is July 1st. So there's a few months to prepare for that. We were questioning about the charter amendments, but got legal opinion on that those take effect on July 1st as well, which will be one of the big ones is the Budget Committee reduction in numbers. So we have to figure out how we're going to be handling that on that day. But yeah, I just want to thank everybody who came out and participated, as well as the poll workers. Everything went off smoothly that day, especially with the weather, luckily. Just an update. I received a number of complaints and concerns from residents about the recent electric bills and questions about Community Power Coalition of New Hampshire. Several New Hampshire communities are reassessing their participation in CPCNH following recent electricity supply rate increases. The coalition's current residential rate is approximately 14.663 cents per kilowatt hour. It is now higher than some of the default utility rates, prompting discussions in communities such as Portsmouth, which is reviewing its participation, and Bow, which recently voted to withdraw from the program, citing higher than expected costs for residents. The City of Dover has already moved some of the large municipal accounts, such as the Ice Arena, back to Eversource due to cost concerns. Given these developments and Newmarket's participation in the regional community power effort, I just want to get some feedback from the council with like additional analysis or briefing from CPCNH in the future, rate projections and program outlook before whether any policy direction or action is warranted. And I'm going to tee up.
Councillor Lemon.
Okay, thank you very much. I agree with the town manager. I think it would be good to have members or senior members from the Community Power Coalition to address the town council. I've been in touch with them. They would welcome the opportunity to come talk with us April 15th. The question is, they'll need about a half hour, and maybe a little bit more depending on questions. So do we want to do would you like to do a work session before that or during the regular session?
If we had something during the regular session, where would it go on the agenda?
It would probably go into my report.
Okay. I would say let's do that.
During the regular session? Is that
What do other folks think?
I would prefer a half hour before the regular meeting,
But we could even do an hour.
or an hour.
they're either one.
Well,
My preference would be if you give them an hour before,
I think there.
have a work session.
Sorry.
Councillor Blackstone.
I would like to see a two-pronged approach. I would like to hear from Community Power, but I would also like to see if Bill could call Portsmouth, call Dover, and talk to the CFOs, or the finance people there, and hear why they decided to withdraw. And I'd like to have Bill report to us, like what he's heard.
That's not CFO level, that's manager level.
It was a financial decision.
It was a council and manager decision.
Okay, then I'd like to have somebody talk to talk to these cities.
I will.
And give us feedback on why they, because
If I could continue, I believe that the executive director can respond to that. There'll also be a member from the member services, the director of member services, that can, that I believe can address that. Basically it's rates, but I do want to continue on and talk about some of the other stuff that goes with this, and then maybe we come back to that. Okay, so I just want to make it clear. New rates are announced twice a year. Last December, the new rates were announced. We put stuff out on the Newmarket web pages, the community, what the hell's happened in Newmarket and the Newmarket community. We also gave it to Tim to put out on the town website. And in that, we specifically stated, hey, we got a new rates that are coming effective February 1st. The new rate's going to be 14.6 cents. Community Eversource is 11.3 cents, so it's going to be 3.3 cents higher than Eversource. We specifically spelled out in the note saying the average Newmarket resident is going to see a $16, $17 increase in their rates because we're 3 cents higher. Okay, and we also in that note made it very specifically, very clear that you can opt out of community power back to Eversource or any electric supplier that you want at no cost and at any time. So we do that every 6 months when new rates come out. We do that. We put that on the town website and on the other things. I also want to say, last November, Community Power notified all the communities, including Portsmouth, Newmarket and Portsmouth, and they said, we're going to be doing a customer refresh in March. While we were looking at this, we also noticed that in your electric aggregation plans, which how you run your program, there's no procedures in there for you to opt out of an upcoming refresh. And Community Power said to all of them, including Portsmouth, if you want to opt out of the March refresh, we're going to announce our new rates in December. We expect them to be higher than what's Eversource. If you want to opt out of that March refresh, let us know by the end of December, after we announce the new rates. And they also said at that time, because there's a kind of a flaw or there's no procedure in the existing electric aggregation plans for you to back out of a upcoming refresh. If you want to modify your electric aggregation plans, let us know that you're going to do that by the end of December, and we'll give you to the end of January to tell us what that new refresh or threshold is going to be. Okay, so Portsmouth, everybody had an opportunity to opt out of the refreshes. Everybody knew what the new rates were going to be well before the rates went into effect. So I just wanted to make those points specifically clear. This council, I brought it to the council, said, look, the rate's going to be higher than Eversource, but it's the recommendation of the Electric Aggregation Committee or the Energy and Environment Committee. It's our recommendation that we stay with Newmarket Community Power. This council, I informed the council, and the council was okay with that. I also told the council, we're going to be modifying our electric aggregation plan. We're going to put in a threshold that has 20%. I forget exactly what it was. And this council voted on it and approved that threshold. So there was plenty of opportunities for people to opt out.
Valentina, what would you like us to take from that?
I'm sorry, what?
What would you like us to take from that information?
Well, just the fact that, why is Portsmouth backing out? I just wanted everybody to know that everybody had ample opportunity to know what the new rates were going to be and make it clear to their constituents, their residents, that they can back out of community power at any time. It shouldn't have been a surprise to anybody that the rates were higher. I hope that answers some of your questions. Or?
Councilor Brownhill.
This is in regards to whether we should have a workshop or do this during regular session. And one of the reasons I think we should do it during a workshop is so that there's more discussion time and residents who are interested can attend and be here and hear the conversation as well. And fitting it into the meeting, I think, considering the size of the conversation, the possible size of the conversation, it doesn't seem quite the right flow from my perspective. Since it's not about us making a decision at that point, anyways. It's really an information session.
Yeah, just,
Let me see if there's anybody else that wants to
Mhm.
chime in, and then we can come right back, just to make sure we're giving everybody a shot to be heard.
Um,
Councillor Fitzgerald.
And what is the benefit to the residents of Newmarket
okay.
of being in community power if they opt into the same percentage of renewable energy as they would get at Eversource for a 3-cent lower rate? What is?
Again, that's one of the things that I've asked them to cover, what
Yeah.
the benefits are, but basically there's a number of benefits. One, we do offer other products, 30%, 50%, 100% clean energy. We do have a dedicated group that works with the State House on legislation that for clean energy, whatever. Okay, those are two of the things that I can think about. Another thing is that we offer competition. When community power first started, Eversource had was like 22 cents. I can show you this great graph. Their rate was 22 cents. We came in at like 16 cents or whatever. All the utilities were higher than when we first launched. They've all brought their rates down to comparable to where community power was.
Right,
So
yeah.
those are just a couple
Renewable
of
energy is
benefits.
important to me, and I
Mhm.
think that a big part of why you might choose it is for the legislature. They're
Okay.
working towards that.
And I will add, this council has also passed a resolution that said by 2030 we will aspiring to get the town and everybody onto clean energy. Community power offers us the ability to do that right now. We could potentially say, okay, we want to switch to 100% clean energy, and technically we could do that today. We haven't done that. Another,
Just to keep things focused on sort of what
Yeah.
we're trying to suss
Mhm.
out right
Okay.
now is not whether to keep community power, although
Mm.
they've made some great points. It's just to decide whether we
You want a
want to
meeting.
have folks come in and whether we want it to be during the meeting or whether we want it to be during the
Okay.
workshop. My vote was during the meeting. I'm hearing a couple people like pre-meeting workshop, and I'm fine with that. Councillor Blackstone and Councillor Wharton, come back.
I support a workshop
Okay.
which allows the people of Newmarket, I mean, because we're kind of putting a tax on the people of Newmarket. And it could be perceived as we're putting a tax, and so they should
wanna-
have a right to talk.
Councillor Ward.
Clearly, there's a lot to be discussed, so I think having a dedicated workshop makes sense.
So we'll do it at 6 o'clock before the next meeting.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just to clarify, though, a workshop is not a public hearing. This is a workshop of the town council, not the public. So it's a conversation with the council, with the representatives from CPCNH.
Public can attend though, right?
Public can attend,
Yeah.
but it's not a comment.
Can I just add one more thing? Okay. I've asked them to cover basically 3 things plus whatever else that the council wants them to cover. But I asked them to talk about their financial situation, why the rates are what they are today. I made it clear that they've run into some financial issues, and what it is that they plan to do and how they project to get out of the financial situation that they're in now and return to profitability. And then the third thing was to talk about what the benefits of community power are. Those 3 main things I'd like them to talk about.
Thank you, Councilor Martina. One thing that I'll come back to you in just one second. One thing that might be useful, I'm not sure what the best way to get this, maybe just send things to you.
Mhm.
If there are other specific questions that councilors that you have that you'd like them to address, maybe let's funnel those to the town manager so that we can get them to community power and they can be prepared to have a conversation and address those things directly.
Hmm?
Does that work?
That would be good.
Excellent. Councillor Eagleson, are you waiting?
Still his
as
name.
well?
Mhm.
Like everybody.
No, I was gonna-
This is the most. This is a lot of conversation.
I
Okay.
was just wondering if it would be a good idea, Steve, you can tell me no immediately, to have the public send you questions, if they have any.
They can always send me
Okay.
questions.
Just for that.
Doesn't mean I know
I
the
just thought
answer.
I'd
Well,
bring
so
that
the
up.
question, so the question is like, is, could you announce that this is going to happen, like
Yes.
on the
That would be a good
website?
one.
We will do
and,
that.
like on, you know, what the hell is in the Newmarket, like,
Yeah.
like have them put it on Facebook and on the interweb.
That and questions for the
Well, exactly,
Power,
with
yeah,
that
yeah.
specifically.
Yeah.
Send your questions to. Excellent. Counselor Blackstone?
No, I'm gonna email
You're
my
good.
question.
Okay, okay, excellent.
The council does have the authority ability to suspend any rules, make any rules that we want. So if there were members of the public here and we did want to hear from the members of the public, I'm sure that we as a council could do that.
Yeah, we know how well that goes.
Well,
That's
Yeah.
why I brought up
Well,
the
we-
percentage.
Yeah.
I do have a buddy that
It
would
goes
like to.
very, very well. We appreciate it. Okay, are there any other discussion? We need to vote. or
No,
anything. Like,
we got it.
So we're cool doing
All
a,
right,
doing
6
a workshop?
6 o'clock.
6
I will
o'clock.
let them know, thank you.
All right.
Continuing my written report, just to update in fiscal year 26. Our revenues, we are doing well. We've collected 94.7% of the $44 million estimated for revenues, with 66.7 of the fiscal 0.7% of the fiscal year elapsed. Expenditures, we've expended about 66% of the $18.9 million budget, so just right on track, so everything seems to be good. We are trying out new things with reporting, so there's a lot more information you can drill into. And I also have the MS 232 that I need everyone to sign, which is a report of the appropriations actually voted on election day. And that's all I have tonight.
Excellent. Any questions or discussion for the town manager on his report? Counselor Blackstone?
I would just like to thank you for this better format. You don't have to dig through the data, it's all consolidated here. I really liked it.
Good having that cheap intern called Claude. AI.
Is it Claude?
It's Claude.
Ooh, so you're in trouble with Hexit.
Yeah.
Any other questions or discussion for the town manager on his report? Okay. We'll move on to department reports. Any questions for the town manager or discussion or comments on any of the department reports for February? Counselor Dornblood.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to, I don't always read the department reports since there are a lot of departments and sometimes they're really lengthy. But this week I did have time to do so. And so there you go. Now you all know. But it's true. I usually focus on the police report, which is kind of silly because the police report is in some ways the least interesting of reports. Well, anyway, but so I would like to thank the police for the job that they're doing because every time I read the reports, I get to a place where I just have tears welling in my eyes because it's this community spirit that comes out in the report, and I really appreciate that. I also want to thank the work of the DPW and the water department or the water division folks for fixing the water main break on Maple Crest in sub-zero degree temperatures. That must have been just a slog, a really difficult task, and I'm glad that they were able to do it and that nobody got hurt doing it, and lived to tell the tale, so to speak. I'm also wondering if this is referring to the town engineer's report. Now that we're past the election and all the articles passed, what the next steps around Cushing and Lumberland are going to be, and maybe we can hear about that next time. I'm sure that everybody else is kind of waiting to see about that too, since it's kind of an interesting and new way to treat stormwater for our town on such a scale. I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank the folks in Human Services for their work. Challenging stuff, and I'm really appreciative that the town has dedicated people who are caring for our community and looking to keep everybody safe and sound. So that's my takeaway from the department report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Dornbluth. Other questions or comments on this month's department reports? Councilor Lamatina.
I just want to say the town manager submitted, distributed the solar feasibility study. I just want to make everybody aware that some of the figures in there may be a little bit optimistic, in that we really need to talk to the town engineer or whatever before anything is actually done with that. So make that.
Other questions or comments on the department reports? Okay. Thank you, everyone. Seeing none, we will move on to committee reports. Are there any committee reports this evening? Councilor Dornbluth and then Councilor Ward.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Transportation Committee met last week. We had a pretty lengthy meeting, in part because we began dealing with the task of developing a report to the council based on the recommendations of the police department from last council meeting. The committee decided to create a working group to facilitate to speed up the process a little bit, to be able to do work in between meetings, collect information for staff to collect information and bring that to the committee. The committee decided to reach out to several towns in the area. We will have opportunity to hear from Mike Scala from the city of Rochester, which recently began to implement parking management strategies, and we will develop a set of questions that we're trying to answer with the report. What objectives there are that we have regarding parking in town, and hopefully the report will include all the information necessary for the council to take the next step and make a decision toward active parking management in town. We also heard about the an update on the RFP, the wayfinding and signage RFP, which has received, I believe, 5 responses, which is pretty good for that kind of an RFP. I think it's nice to have some choices. Unlikely that there is enough funding to accomplish everything that we'd like to see done, but we'll come back with that, I suppose, when that process is done. It's good timing, I believe, because there's opportunity to focus that work and make that kind of flow with the parking approach that we may or may not take. Whatever that is, in the end, it will require communication to visitors and residents alike, and signage is obviously a key component there. There's not really any update on public transportation, but to say that the service that the Coast service is being utilized, and no news from Coast in regard to that is probably good news at this point. And I believe that concludes the report. If anybody out there who's listening and is interested in transportation, we are welcoming new members. So if you have any interest whatsoever in any of these topics that we regularly discuss, please feel free to reach out and submit an application, and you can be a real part of it, which would be exciting.
Any questions for Councillor Dornbluth? Okay, thank you, Councillor Dornbluth, and we'll move on to Councillor Ward.
So I was unable to attend the 300 committee, but I was able to attend the Conservation Commission. And they are proposing a resolution to transfer Shanda Park stewardship from the Conservation Commission to the rec of the town. Simply put, that it doesn't quite make it makes a little bit more sense for rec to be in charge of Shanda Park. There's work on the They're still working on but progress is being made on the Ashwap culvert replacement project. There is a culvert underneath Ashwap Road that allows some wildlife in. It's currently so small that it gets blocked up with dirt and debris and such, so they're planning to make it much bigger. I believe the number was 10 by 6. Now the big concern is that if water's running through it, beavers might want to see it and like try to block it up because that's free dam, but that's something that they have a grant from but they got a grant from the Nature Conservatory for preliminary investigation that's been finished. Then now federal grants to finish the design, permitting, the construction, and there has been some concern over in Epping where I believe it's New England Dragway where a new dump
Transfer station.
no, like an actual recycling waste station is going to be placed by the river.
Yeah.
And there was,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
So that was a big topic of discussion. There's some serious concerns about, the placement of it, the fact that people didn't find out, till recently. Though then again, that might have just been, no one heard about it. But that is something they are looking into. And yeah, also a concern is that that area is home to some endangered bat species. It's a monarch butterfly habitat, so that's something the Conservation Commission is keeping its eye out on.
Thank you, Councillor Ward. Questions for Councillor Ward? No.
You don't want to ask about the bats? And Steve, your mic's off.
Their Fliegermaus is a great opera.
Councillor Dornbluth.
Thank you. I don't have really a question, but I just want to say that I'm really interested in having good updates on the proposal in Epping, and that we keep an eye on it. I know that by now everybody is kind of aware of it, but whatever we can do to make our views known about this proposal and because it has a regional impact from a traffic perspective, and certainly considering the location could influence drinking water quality in communities downstream, including Newmarket. So that I hope that the process at the state level is one that will allow towns such as us to contribute to the regulatory process, so that a license or any decision will take our views into account. So I don't know what the process is, but I would love to hear a little bit more about that, if possible.
I'll just add that I believe at the moment the whole site is on waiting to see if DHS approves, and I believe the site is called Resource. So if anyone wants to look it up, Resource, RE, then source like Eversource.
Yeah, it's a private company.
Yeah. I just realized it's the same way Resource is normally spelled. It's just that there's the S is capitalized. Okay.
Yes.
I just realized I didn't have it.
Other questions for Councillor Ward?
I can spell.
You can. Seeing none, committee report from Councillor Glazberg.
So Arts, Culture, and Tourism met March 3rd, and we went over a number of upcoming projects and things that are kind of coming toward the end. One of the big ones was the art triangles and the statues on top that have been going in. There's one that is completed that we've seen, and it's the turtle that the plan unveiling is for Turtle Fest, May 9th. I think that it may go up ahead of time with information on when Turtle Fest will be, and it may go up the day of Turtle Fest. That's still undecided, but it will be around that event. And I misspoke last meeting when I said that the alewife was going to be a swarm of alewife. It will be 2 alewives, so not even a school of alewife.
Hey,
It's just be
Microsoft.
2. But we've seen those as well now, and they've come out. They're all amazing, and it's going to look great with all the different statues from that artist around town. Really excited to get them all in place. The mural mosaic that has been ongoing. So there was a little over 600 tiles total, 300 of which were done by previous artists, and those are supplied to you to intermingle with art that's done by people in your community, and then you put them together to make the image. We have, as of the last meeting, 97 of our 347 were left unpainted. 65 were already accounted for. That left 32 extras, so 32 left between now and the end of May. And there's an event planned, I'm not sure of the date right now, but at the rec, where whatever's left over at the end, that's where they'll go, and we will almost certainly paint all of the tiles before the deadline. Really excited for that. April 13th is the next painting event, and that's at the Historical Society, April 13th, 6 p.m. at the Stone School. For the unveiling event, the plan for that is Flag Day, June 14th, and right now there's conversations about potentially requesting a road closure. The time would be somewhere like a 30-minute period between 4 and 5, and we're not sure which section of the road the request will be for yet. That's why I haven't sent anything to the town manager yet, but it will be coming hopefully at the beginning after next April's meeting. The Elm Street project, the original artist, Leanne Wiley, I hope some of you have been able to attend one of Pam Meyer Morgan's presentations on the original art and the process that went into doing it. But when Pam started to put together that presentation, she couldn't get in contact with Leanne. Leanne was out of the country and a bit unreachable, and since then, she has made contact. The commission has been in contact with Leanne regularly, and she plans to be involved in what is going to come of the mural that's there. The current plan is sandblast it, paint it, and then steel frames like they have at the Pocket Park with, there's some original photos of the art right after it was finished, so in its pristine condition. Those would be printed on the first printing in those steel frames, and one of them would be for the 300th. So that's in the next year and a half, planned for all sorts of projects, or a fundraiser for that, potentially getting the community involved in painting the base coat like they did originally. The community was involved in finishing up the art that was there. And that is all for now.
Excellent. Okay, questions for Councillor Gleisberg? Councillor Lamatino?
I painted one of the tiles, and it looks like about a 3rd grade level.
I sat next to you, and it's at least 4th grade level.
Let's see if you can pick it out.
Other questions or comments for Councillor Gleisberg? Okay. Seeing none, are there any other committee reports this evening? Councillor Blackstone.
So the planning board reviewed the last installment of the master plan, which is the recreation, which includes the rec center, but the bike trails and all that kind of stuff. And we kind of got a first draft done of that, so we're closing in on getting the master plan done.
Questions for Councilor Blackstone? Okay, other committee reports? Do you have a report from the licensing?
Licensing board met this evening. We approved a bike-a-thon to go through town on Saturday, June 27th. And we are working with a group that's going to be doing a No Kings protest on March 28th. The only issue that came up was they requested to have a DJ downtown, the bandstand during those hours. The police chief was concerned about noise as well as you would be using town materials, our electricity, to have the DJ since it's at the bandstand. He's going to talk with them to give more clarification, but we leaned against not allowing the DJ, but allowing the protest.
Questions about the licensing board meeting? Okay. Any other committee reports before we move on? All right. Seeing none, we will move on to resolutions and ordinances in the second reading. And this evening there are two. The first resolution is 2025-2026-34, and that is converting the ad hoc Riverfront Advisory Committee to a standing committee and expanding its membership. And at this time, I would accept a motion to approve this resolution.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Ward. Do I have a second?
I will second.
Thank you, Councillor Lamatina. And would you like to speak to this one? Or Councillor
let the
Lamatina?
chair.
I can speak. Yeah, so, the ad hoc Riverfront Advisory Committee is an ad hoc committee. We would like to become a standing committee. The current chair, was the Conservation Commission's representative to that committee. He is no longer on, the Conservation Committee. He would like to continue with this committee. And he'd also like to say as the chairman, and he's Sam Kenny is a good chairperson. We would like to keep him as the chairperson. So, this resolution basically makes it a full standing committee. It allows us to kind of oversee the implementation of the master plan, things that we have in the new master plan related to the riverfront, and also allows us to expand the committee to keep Sam Kenny as the chair and get a new member from the Conservation Committee, and also add a fifth member at large.
Thank you very much. Questions for Councillor Lamatina or discussion on this resolution? Councillor Drumblett.
Thank you. I think it's wonderful that the committee is at a place where it has done so much work and has affected so much change that moving to a standing committee makes sense. And considering the the recent purchase of Creighton Street property and the aspirations that we have in the master plan regarding the riverfront, I think it makes a lot of sense to approve this resolution, and I'm also pleased to hear that there are such dedicated people on the committee that that want to continue that work. It's great to hear.
Thank you, Councillor Drumblett. Other questions or discussion on this resolution? Councillor Ward.
Just that it makes sense. The riverfront's going to be there or probably as long as the town and longer than the town, so it makes sense to have a committee that's not temporary. Stating the obvious.
I have one question, and this might be for the town manager. If the advisory committee, the ad hoc Riverfront Advisory Committee is dissolved, yeah, then does everybody on the committee, like now the committee's empty and everybody
you're
needs to
gonna ask.
apply?
I would I would take out just dissolving the committee and just changing the name from ad hoc to permanent.
Okay.
That way you're not having to have it, but you're right, they would have to all reapply.
Yeah, which
you're
is not a
dissolving it.
horrible thing, like, it's not a huge, like,
But you don't wanna give somebody a chance to resign.
yeah, like, yeah.
So,
So,
so I'd like to make a motion to amend this resolution to basically see, now therefore be it resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that the Newmarket Town Council hereby renames the Ad hoc Riverfront Advisory Committee to the Riverfront Advisory Committee? Is that, did you get all that? No. Neither did I, don't ask me to repeat it.
Just,
Basically, now therefore be it resolved, let it be resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that the Newmarket Town Council hereby renames the Ad hoc Riverfront Advisory Committee to be the Riverfront Advisory Committee effective April 1st, 2026. That sound reasonable?
Amendment there, how about redesignates?
That's,
The ad hoc to a standing committee, and then you don't have any renaming necessary at all, you just remove the ad hoc.
so how do you word it?
I was reading it and thinking, as you were spelling it out, if it read, the Newmarket Town Council hereby redesignates the Ad hoc Riverfront Advisory Committee a standing committee effective blah, 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 and which shall be, henceforth, known as the Riverfront the Riverfront Advisory Committee.
Fine with that, whatever.
I got it.
you got it?
Yeah.
I've ordered it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, there's a motion on the table to amend this resolution. At this time, I would accept a motion to approve that amendment.
I will make a motion and
Wait a minute.
Thank you.
Councilman Martina made the motion.
All right.
Councilor Mattina made the motion. At this,
Yep.
at this time, is there a second?
He made a motion to the other, do we have to make a second motion?
No.
Okay.
That's a friendly-
This is the discussion.
Yeah, so is
Yeah, I
there,
just thought
is
I'd-
there a
Yeah.
second? Councilor Dornbluth, second. Okay. So discussion on whether to amend the resolution.
Just procedurally in the future, discussion shouldn't happen until a second comes up.
Got it.
Because this is what happens.
This is what, it is. You're right, you're right, you're right. Okay, seeing none, if you could call the roll, please. This is on the amendment.
Counselor Blaisberg?
Aye.
Counselor Martina?
Aye.
Counselor Dornbluth?
Aye.
Counselor Eagleson?
Aye.
Counselor Blackstone?
Aye.
Counselor Ward?
Aye.
Counselor Conlon?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Excellent, okay. So now, is there discussion on the resolution as amended? We are no longer dissolving one committee and creating another, we are simply redesignating.
Do we have to?
You have to raise your hand and get called. So you have to quick thing.
Counselor Lamatina?
Procedure, do we have to do, make a recommendation to approve it, then somebody has to first and second approve the motion?
Motion's already been made.
No, motion's already been made.
Okay.
Any comments or discussion? Okay, seeing none, if you could call the roll.
Counselor Blaisberg?
Aye.
Counselor Martina?
Aye.
Counselor Dornbluth?
Aye.
Counselor Eagleson?
Aye.
Counselor Blackstone?
Aye.
Counselor Ward?
Aye.
Counselor Conlon?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Okay. And our second resolution in the second reading this evening is Resolution 2025-2026-35, and that is a resolution abolishing the Parking Commission and transferring its duties to the Public Transportation Advisory Committee. And at this time, I would accept a motion to approve that resolution.
I will make the motion.
Thank you, Councilor Ward, and do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Councilor Eagleson. Okay.
We had two committees basically doing the same thing. The commission hadn't met since the pandemic, and the public
It's quite a while.
transportation committees took over a lot of those duties, so it's just cleaning up and having one committee.
That's why I like being on that committee.
The commission?
All right, questions for the town manager or any discussion on this resolution? Okay, I think think it's a good, I think it's a good move. Anytime we can eliminate redundancies, make things a little more streamlined, I think that's all to the good. Seeing no other comments, if you could call the roll.
Counselor Blaisberg?
Aye.
Counselor Martina?
Aye.
Counselor Douglas?
Aye.
Counselor Eagleson?
Aye.
Counselor Blackstone?
Aye.
Counselor Ward?
Aye.
Counselor Conlon?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Excellent. And our next item is resolutions and ordinances in the first reading, and this evening there is one. That is Resolution 2025-2026-36 to adopt the updated multi-hazard mitigation plan for the town of Newmarket. Whereas the town of Newmarket, New Hampshire received a grant from the New Hampshire Department of Safety, a division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, in the amount of $10,800 to update the Newmarket 2018 Hazard Mitigation Plan, and whereas the Town of Newmarket and Stratford Regional Planning Commission entered into agreement to update the Town of Newmarket's 2018 Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan, and whereas multiple public meetings were held between February 3rd, 2025 and May 22nd, 2025 for the purpose of developing and reviewing the 2025 Newmarket, New Hampshire Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan update, and whereas the Town of Newmarket, New Hampshire Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan 2025 update contains a comprehensive list of future projects for the town to pursue in order to mitigate identified hazards, be it resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that it adopts the 2025 update to the Newmarket, New Hampshire Multi-Hazard Mitigation Plan, sponsored by Chair Conley by request, first reading March 18, 2026. And with that, we will move on to new business and correspondence. Oh,
If I may, just real quick, the reading of the first paragraph, I think, should be corrected to by omitting the second comma and the A to read received a grant from the New Hampshire Department of Safety, Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. It's one term. I know it's lengthy and somewhat silly, but that's I think how it should read. Since the Department of Safety is not a division of the former, but rather this is one entity that issued the grant.
got it. Okay. Is there any correspondence to be read into the record for the town council this evening?
There's none.
Okay. We will move on to closing comments by town councilors. Are there any closing comments this evening? Councilor Lemon?
April 4th, 8:30 at the Rec Center in Leo LaRoche Field. Rec Department is sponsoring the Easter egg hunt.
Oh, in the morning, 8:30 a.m.
Correct.
Okay.
8:30, yes.
Some do have it at night. You have to use a flashlight. I know. There's a city that
That sounds
around
like
here does
fun.
that.
That does sound
They do a nighttime
How
one.
it is, it's packed, there's hundreds of kids.
Okay, Easter
I
egg
go
hunt.
every year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Easter eggs
Councilor
and kid.
Martina. Other closing comments? Oh, go ahead, Councilor Douglas.
Thank you. I just wanted to throw this out there and see if maybe there's some interest in a discussion about this. I'm wondering if the town should consider creating a heritage commission. The heritage commissions are, can be set up akin to a conservation commission. Just focusing on cultural resources in the town rather than natural resources. So the same kind of principles. The purview of the commission can be very broad, very narrow, and I think there's opportunity there. The commission can receive funds, raise funds. There are lots of wonderful resources that we have in Newmarket, and a good inventory of those I think would be helpful. You can create maps, you can create all sorts of wonderful things and include, let's say, trees, for example. Trees that are over 200 or 300 years old could be marked. Buildings of note can be inventoried. All sorts of activities that one can conduct, including, for example, lists of let's say, craftsmen to work on a building if you're looking for somebody or what have you. So there's lots of activities that a Heritage Commission could undertake, and I'm wondering if the council would be interested in having a discussion around this. I know it's another commission, another committee, so it may not be something that the town wants to take on at this time, but I think it might be well worth it for us to do that.
Don't we already have a heritage committee? Maybe we used to.
There was some history. There was an attempt to have a historic district commission at one point, but that didn't go anywhere. And that was in the late 90s, late 2000s. But
We do not have a Heritage Commission
No, we don't.
at this point.
I can think of several people in the community who might be very interested in serving on
I can do some research.
that.
With the Historic Society and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the Historical Society does a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yes, and it would give the Historical Society, if you will, an opportunity to have another arm, if you will. And just to be clear, there are historic districts, there are historic district commissions. This is not that.
This is not that.
It can include that, but it doesn't. So the way the legislation is written is very accommodating to towns to set up. It's just kind of unique in a way because most of the time when legislation is written, it's either take it or leave it kind of thing. This is very this basically parallels the Conservation Commission legislation, and there's a great fact sheet that's issued by the Department of Cultural Resources on it. Very clear, easily found. I can forward it if you like, and it's just something I think we should consider, especially considering our our 300th anniversary, and the fact that we're going through a very significant kind of rezoning approach here in town. I think it's important to pay attention to what we have now and the built environment the way it exists and see how our town changes over time. I think it's important to pay attention to where we were, where we are now, where we want to go, and what can be retained or repurposed on that way. For example, what are things that we want to preserve, and what kind of history do we want to bring back out that we have forgotten, stories that we have forgotten. So I think there's a lot that could be done, and I think as you mentioned, Madam Chair, I think there are a lot of individuals in town who would likely want to who would enjoy participating in efforts like that.
Thank you, Councilor Tremblay.
Mm-hmm.
Any other comments? The only thing I have this evening is, before we close up, I wanted to take just a quick minute to thank Councilor Eagleson for your service. Chase, it's been such a pleasure having you on the council, and really just hope that you will stay connected to the committee work and the things happening in the town. As you obviously know now, a lot of the real work gets and the meaty stuff gets done there, and hope you will stay connected. Should there be another opening, we highly encourage you to apply.
And you still have one more meeting.
And you still have one more meeting. Any other comments? All right, our next meeting is April 1st, and that is not a joke. 2026, and if there are no objections, I will consider us adjourned.